Hi, my name is Mike Zimean, and I was essentially the sole technical sound designer for SCP Fragmented Minds from the moment I joined the project. While many audio assets were already in place, some even implemented on certain props, I was still working with a clean slate. My first priority was to bring order to the existing Vice project. I restructured it to ensure every asset, soundbank, and share set had a clear, systematic naming convention, a well-organized hierarchy, and clean, logical implementation. Looking ahead, I should mention that throughout the project I maintained documentation of all key audio-related data. In the early stages in particular, I also kept a detailed journal of everything I worked on and the challenges I encountered. This journal was accessible to team leads and programmers, which significantly streamlined both troubleshooting and tracking my progress. Speaking of organization, keeping things tidy in Unreal Engine was also a priority for me. Every asset I added followed a clear naming convention, indicating what it was, where it belonged, and its purpose, all neatly placed in the appropriate folder. The same approach applied to my scripting habits. Whenever possible, I refactored my code to keep my blueprints flexible, powerful, and customizable, while maintaining a lean structure. I also used blueprint function libraries for recurring tasks to keep everything efficient and organized. I began my actual work on the game by setting up spatial audio features for all the existing territories. Since the game is set in a massive semi-abandoned facility on Mars, it features a vast number of rooms, halls, transition zones, open spaces, and various other types of topology. I won't go into detail about all the typical tasks I handled. Instead, I'd like to highlight a few of my favorites, along with some that best showcase my approach and skills. For example, I created audio assets and implemented the entire audio logic for about a dozen types of physics objects, including chairs, luggage, metal furniture, plastic, wood, soft materials, and more. And of course, one of my personal favorites, the globe. Sometimes I had to create new sounds for objects that already had an established audio design. A great example is the power core. It already had a sound for being installed in a power socket, but I needed to design additional sounds for picking it up, dropping it, and ejecting it from the socket. On top of that, I added some sweeteners, power up and power down sounds for the generator to enhance the overall experience. I also worked extensively on sound design and implementation for UI sounds, both for the game interface and for in-game props with interactive interfaces.
You can't leave me here! Sarah!
Working with Niagara Systems is a bit of a separate topic, so I'll showcase a couple of examples of audio implementation specifically for them. In addition to sound design and integration in Unreal Engine, this also required a focus on optimization. Optimization in this project involved multiple passes across the entire game world, as well as individual work on each sub-level. A couple of simple yet effective examples. I created blueprints for multi-positioning sounds and collision zone-dependent looping sounds to prevent having dozens of unnecessary virtual voices. I also put a lot of effort into suggesting new scene ideas, including jump scares and subtle environmental mechanics. Additionally, I created simple animation sequences to bring these concepts to life. Some examples include muffling ambient sounds when stepping under a water stream, adding remnants of old PA messages when hacking speakers, applying an eerie, otherworldly reverb to Mars surface zones, making heartbeat intensity react to enemy proximity, and many more.
Attention, Protocol Delta 7 remains in effect. Should Delta...
Designing and implementing cinematic elements was a distinct task of its own. This included several types of content: in-game scenes, cutscenes, and linear media such as trailers and videos.
Hey, you! You're one of them. I've seen that armor before.
One of who? What the hell happened to you?
You're part of the site security team, right? You'll need something like Sarah here to power and interface most of the equipment you come across. Don't break her, though. She's very special to me.
Sarah. So, this can power things?
Shit! It's getting worse. You need to move now. Here, take my comm chip. I'll use it to help you find the generators.
The last thing I'd like to briefly cover is the interactive music system. While most of the music assets were provided to me, I still had to create various transitions, stingers, and even a couple of additional tracks, one of which you've been hearing all the time while I was speaking. I can't show much here, so I highly recommend playing the game yourself. What I can say is that with just a few game calls, I was able to create an immersive musical experience by implementing extensive transition rules, filtering calls, adding extra layers, and using a few other tricks up my sleeve. Thanks for watching. I hope this reel gives you a clear idea of my expertise in technical sound design as well as my approach to traditional sound design. So if you have any questions or want to discuss audio, feel free to reach out. See you around.